chance for the batting lineup to display their fine set of skills. A good opening stand will be the key here. Good show by the fielders. Timing excellent. Batsman in great form here, and that's another huge six. Racing over the edge as this corker of a game draws to a conclusion. That shot would have made me proud if I'd hit it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and a very good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to where you may be watching from in the world. You have joined in to the ECPL 2023. It's day number 4. My name is Jake. It's an absolute honor to be your host for this evening, and only one of your commentators, but I am not alone. I am joined by Kashil. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Jake. Thank you for introducing me there. And overall, welcome to the stream. Really excited for day 4. Obviously, we have seen some, very interesting matches over the last. We've seen double wicket maidens. We've seen, 5 sixes being hit in a single over. We've seen low scores getting defended. We've seen, 50 plus scores being posted in, 12 balls. That's amazing, right? So really excited and really looking forward to day 4.
Yeah, it's definitely been action-packed, and day 4 will be no different. If you are new to this tournament and you're wondering just how it's going to go down, well, it's a little bit like this. It's on the Googly platform, which is where you are now. Proud to present the ECPL T20 2023 tournament. The top 6 players from around the world have qualified and will be competing in a 6-day-long double round-robin tournament to determine the final 4 players going through to the playoffs. And an interesting little tidbit, all of those top players are actually from India, so the flag definitely flying high, and they'll be battling for both prize pool and as well as all of the fame and glory that goes along with it, Kashil.
Absolutely. And again, one thing that we've been all been talking about, ever since day 1, everybody's walking away. So, everybody's walking away with something. Obviously, these are the top 6 players that have qualified for ECPL 2023. Interesting part, obviously everybody's walking with something, but who's going to back the most coveted prize, right? That's something to look at.
Yeah, I mean, like as I alluded to, all of the top players are from India and they're earning US dollars. So I'm not too good on conversion rates, but if it's anything like the Australian dollar, it's not that good. So I'm assuming that would be a lot of money in Indian currency. But 8K for first place is absolutely massive. Let's have a look at who is currently leading the charge toward that big $8,000 first place prize. It is Destroyer 3 this guy, he is yet to pick up a loss. Absolutely incredible on his team. But have a look at everybody here. They are the best of the best. Don't let these numbers fool you, Kashil. We are in the latter stages of the tournament. We're now in the second half. So, the bottom 3 players, they have a bit of ground to cover, but, it's still possible for them.
Absolutely. Currently 5th and 6th on the table, but there are quite a few matches to go. And then again, they would be quite other, results from quite matches as well to go their way. But then again, there's been a favorite, if you ask me, for day 4 of and as you rightly mentioned, Destroyer 3 has been something, is a player to look out for. And we are going to see him, play today. And let's see what day 4 has in store for him.
Yeah, well, he's actually going to be playing today. So the 2 teams that we're going to be featuring in our first match head-to-head will be the Trinbago Knight Riders going up against Guyana Amazon Warriors, Deepti, as well as Destroyer going to be locking horns. Now, Destroyer is someone we talk about a lot, but I do like Deepti on the Trinbago Knight Riders as well. He's definitely got a little bit to prove in this competition. Destroyer is the Goliath, right? He is the number 1 person to take down. If anybody can do it, I think Deepti is in with a chance.
Absolutely. So far, Deepti has had a mixed sort of a tournament, with 2 wins and 3 losses. But then again, starting the day playing against the number 1 seeded player, I think that's going to give him the right platform to sort of showcase his skills, begin the day. And at the same time, obviously MS Dhoni being an inspiration to him, I hope he, sort of draws an approach.
Yeah, Dhoni, one of India's greatest, especially in a clutch situation. You know, you want somebody to come in with a hard slog, it's Dhoni, right? The first guy to come to mind. And Destroyer as well, our current leader in this competition, also an MS Dhoni fan. But yes, if they can just channel even an inch, an ounce of MS Dhoni's energy, I can assure you we're going to see some explosive shots, especially from the batting side. Of course, that's what Dhoni is known for, after all, as well as his keeping.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're right, Jake. Obviously, Destroyer, I don't think he has to experiment too much. He's been, right at point with, all his game plans, whether it be on the bowling part or be it on the batting part. While bowling, he's sort of bowling in all the right areas, and obviously with the manual field setting, the option of manual field setting, I think he's also able to sort of place the fielders really well, inviting the player, opposition players to play a couple of mistimed shots or a couple of pull shots, and having that fielder there at deep square leg to always be there and take that catch, and then again sort of making the opposition struggle to even score runs. I think that's been a key tactic in Destroyer 3's game approach so far. Deepti so far, it's more balanced, 2 wins, 3 losses. Obviously, we've seen some great batting display from him. At the same time, we see a good bowling display as well. But then again, from an aggression standpoint, I think what Deepti would be looking forward to today is to be a little more aggressive. Start, if he wins the toss and sort of decides to bat, I think we're going to see an aggressive.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Day 4, match number 1. Deepti actually going down in the toss, and Destroyer actually winning the toss and bowling. So the Guyana Amazon Warriors will be bowling first. Deepti, representing the Trinbago Knight Riders, will be batting first. And this is going to be incredible. It's 2 overs each here, and then we will switch sides, and basically whoever gets the top score wins. It's that simple.
Absolutely. And then again, that quick win for Deepti here would just sort of take him to that number 4 position. And that's obviously the top 4 players qualify for the playoffs. There's still a long way to go in the tournament so far. But then again, from a standing standpoint, I am pretty sure that players would be looking to sort of finish in the top 4.
So Destroyer into Deepti. And Deepti actually hoiks it straight over mid-wicket. That one's going all the way. Nice 6 to start things off.
And I think, we're going to see a lot more of sixes, right? One thing that we've seen, a common thing that we've observed so far in the ECPL 2023 is, players have been either, targeting, 6 sitting boundaries, or then again are trying, whenever they're bowling, they're trying to bowl more dots. I think those 2 things are really the key here, whether you're batting or whether you're bowling. And I think, timing like that, right? Timing like that. What a great way to start, day 4. First 3 balls, 3 sixes, that suddenly 18 runs on the board for no loss. And then again, only 3 balls bowled, 9 more to go. And then again, I was quite expecting Deepti to come in hard today. In terms of the approach that he was going to have, in terms of, going out there and start hitting the ball from ball 1 itself. But then again, as a Destroyer 3, we've known him to be somebody who knows set the right field every now and then, inviting the players and just waiting for that mistime shot, right? And having the player got caught out, just like that. So I think it'll be really interesting from here on to see how they go about setting up a total here, and the way the things are going on right now. We've seen 4 sixes in 5 balls. 24 runs on the board, 5 balls done, and I think anything over 20 runs that we've seen in ECPL so far after over on has been something. That player has really gone on to score, at almost close to 40 runs, and we already have 30 on board here.
Yeah, Deepti really coming out with all guns blazing here at the moment. Looks like this is actually going to be our first... No, that's a catch, actually. I thought it might have been a single, but second wicket on the board here for Destroyer. He's actually bowled quite a few interesting change-ups. He's mixed it up with the Yorker, the slower ball bouncer as well. And Deepti, for the most part, has actually been okay at reading it. Like you said, he's smacked so many sixes, and there's been 2 wickets. So Deepty, I would say he's in control here, but Destroyer still has 5 balls to bowl. He comes in again and tries to put it on middle and off this time, and again Deepty just takes him straight over long on. That's going to be another 6. Deepty very, very aware here.
This is just MS Dhoni in clutch situation. They
Absolutely. Again, Destroyer tries a short one here, and that is going to be a valuable dot. But no, actually called a wide. Oh, interesting call there, but it is what it is. So an extra ball to be bowled now. Deepty will take that one into his total. And we just have to see if Destroyer has an answer to that. Dot balls are no good. This could be a catch here. No, it's actually going to run away for 4. Past the slips. So again, Deepty just more than happy to take anything that Destroyer can throw at him here, Kashil.
Absolutely, and ideally, speaking, obviously there have been a couple of wickets that have gone down, but all the other balls have either gone for 6s or a 4.
Yeah.
And then I think this is the 7-6 that we are seeing in almost 10 balls. Obviously 2 being wickets and 1 being a boundary, but that's a great score after 10 balls. 47. And I am really thinking, Deepthi is going to go hard and sort of set up the highest score for ECPL 2023. I think that's 53 right now. Deepthi is already at 51. I think Deepthi has a great chance of surpassing that score here.
Last ball. We'll have to see what he can do. Just needs a boundary. And looks like he may actually get it too. It's racing away. Won't go all the way, but a 4 and 6. Everything else, what was that? We had a wide in there. So 2 wickets, a wide, everything else straight to the ropes. That is an impressive score. Deepty, now, does that mean he has the highest score for ECPL 2023?
Yes, it does. We've seen, we have actually seen the highest score being posted here on day 4, match 1. But then again, you just can't, count out Destroyer. Destroyer's been the other person who scored who's posted 50+ scores 2 times. But he was batting first at that point of time. It's a different ball game when you're chasing. Because the moment you sort of let the opposition get away with a few, couple of dot balls at the very start, I think he's going to be under pressure from the very start. So I think what he's going to, what he's going at.
Destroyer won this toss. Can you just give us a little bit of insight as to why he chose to bowl when he got smacked so hard like that?
I think, in the last couple of matches, the initial 2 matches, I think he had been batting first, but then again, in the last couple of matches, I think he changed his tactics a bit because what I've been actually feeling is that all of these players are watching each other's games, right? And then again, most of I would say about 8 out of 10 times or 9 out of 10 times you've seen, whosoever has won the toss, opt to bat first, put up that score and then invite the opposition to chase that score. But then again, Destroyer 3 does not want to lose, does not want to leave any loose ends there. Mixing it up with strategy, playing with the minds of the opposition. So I think that's something, that Destroyer 3 has been trying to do in the last couple of matches. Not being too worried about whether he's batting first or bowling first. He's very, very comfortable with the approach that he has towards the game and executing it pretty well so far. There have been no losses. So you can say that he's been executing it pretty well. But then again, this match is up there. And then again, he's chasing the highest score in the tournament.
I'll tell you what, Deepty knows how to bowl as well. It looked like there were 2 quick wickets in there. So it looks like Destroyer may already be on the ropes here, the undefeated, as Deepty comes in again. 2 balls. Is that 2 wickets? Looks like it's going to be the first boundary. But we can't afford too many dot balls. Kashil, a wicket is essentially a dot ball. In a game like this, when it's so short, they are like gold. They are invaluable.
Absolutely. Suddenly you see the equation, right? Now, that's 52 odd required of 9 balls. That practically means that every ball has to go to the boundary. Mm-hmm. Majority of that being 6s. So I think he's already under pressure, if you ask me. And I think that's the right way to go about it. There was a beautiful 6, over deep mid wicket. But then again, that's the way to go about it. Not get, too pressurized with the dot balls that are being bowled, keeping your calm. Obviously, MS Dhoni being an inspiration, I think, you need to take some cues out of his game there and sort of keep your calm and just focus on what you want to do. Look for those 6s, time the ball perfectly. I think that's going to be here for Destroyer.
No, well, that is a dot ball, and Destroyer may very well be out of this already. It looks like the mathematics of the equation are just seriously against him. Deepti basically in here with a win, you would think. Even if every ball goes to 6, I don't think he'd be able to surmount this one. I mean, the timing's been good from Destroyer. It hasn't been horrible, but Deepti just outplaying him here at the moment. There's been 2 wickets, a dot ball. I think everything here needs to be a 6 to even come close. It's just Deepti comes in with a short one down leg side, swings it in, and that one's going to go for 6 as well. So we could come down to the wire here. So Destroyer putting up a bit of a late challenge, and Deepti, actually Team New Zealand in the game at the moment, trying to play a bit of baseball, actually steps away and didn't know about that timing, goes straight down the throat of the man at fine leg, and that is basically game right there, Kashil.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned, right, those dot balls. I think that those dot balls have made the difference in this game. You know, those dot balls at the very start had already put Destroyer 3 under pressure. But then again, if Deepti is able to win this match, let's say about by 15 or 20 runs, I think Deepti is announcing himself into this tournament. Even though it's been a mixed tournament so far, but then again he's announcing, re-announcing himself in that manner. But I am here to stay, and I'm going to finish in the top 4.
Deepti now on a hat trick as well, and what a way to announce. I mean, this is Destroyer. This is the man who has yet to take a loss in this tournament. And Deepti, from the very first ball, like you said, channeling Dhoni, 6 after 6 after 6. Then he gets to the crease with the ball in his hand, and he's just taken wickets with his first 2 balls. Destroyer already has 0 room for error, and Deepti just keeps applying pressure now. This is, the second last ball. Destroyer will hit it for a 6, but it's all for naught, as Deepti will run away with this one. But Kashil, what do you make of this? Is Destroyer going to walk away from this one having learned a lesson, or is he just going to brush it off saying it's a one-off?
Yes and no. Obviously, he would have to brush it off because he would have to take the loss. And then again, the learning from this game would be, obviously, if you're watching, your opposition play against the other 4 oppositions, right? I think one thing that Destroyer 3 would certainly learn from this game, is from the very start. If you're winning the toss, I think if it was working well so far, if it had been working well for him, batting first, to be able to score, 250 plus totals, and then again, the remaining 240 plus totals, right? I think that's something that he would want to sort of, narrow down on. If he wins the toss, he might want to bat. But then again, he still is in a comfortable position. He could, I think he and Tejas are the only players right now who could afford to take any losses at this point of time, because obviously this is Destroyer 3's first loss. But I think what he was trying to do, try and experiment a bit, say, for example, couple of matches down the line, he finds himself in a position where, he's been asked to bat first or been asked to bowl first. I think he's preparing himself. He's in that simulation mode already.
Well, we definitely need to keep an eye on Deepti, that's for sure, because it was an historical game. It was an historical in the sense that, Destroyer was handed his first loss. It was historical in the sense that we saw the highest score posted for the ECPL 2023 so far. So if that wasn't enough to pique your interest, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what is, but don't go too far. We're just going to throw to a very, very short break. We've got quite a few more games lined up for you, and we'll be back with round number 2 very shortly.
biggest party in sport is back. CPL and WCPL return with more action than ever before.
Are you kidding me?
Watch the biggest names in cricket battle it out in the race for glory.
Brilliantly. Celebrate some more.
Get your tickets now at cplt20.com or at the box office. Join the party. Experience cricket played louder.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ECPL 2023, day number 4. My name is Jake, joined by Kashil. Kashil, my man, we had an amazing game number 1. Destroyer getting taken down, knocked off his perch, handed the first loss of this tournament, courtesy of Deepti. But now we head into game number 2, where we will be seeing Danger Zone going up against Tejas Mehra. Can you please pronounce that correctly for me?
That's exactly the way it's pronounced, Tejas
Yes.
Mehra. You were right there with the pronunciation. Talking about these two players, right? Tejas and Danger Zone. I think both are pretty solid players. Danger Zone, obviously, after day 2, I think he had about 3 wins and no losses. But again, he had a pretty rough day. He had a pretty rough day 3. Where he sort of ended up losing 3 matches there. But then again, he was undefeated until about the start of day 3. Tejas at the same time, I think he's climbed his way up. He lost his first match, but since then he's sort of he's not looked back. And then again, Deepti, we just saw how beautifully, Deepti was able to sort of, trump Destroyer 3 there. Looking for Deepti is climbing up the ladder now. Deepti has 3 wins, from 6 games, and obviously, coming up against Danger Zone, who's already played 7 games, 4 wins, 3 losses. I think this is going to be a really interesting matchup because if Deepti is able to pull this off, suddenly going to see himself in the top 2 at this point of time.
Yeah, so we are actually going to be going back to back here with Deepti. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen, but Danger Zone is in, and for the first time today, we've actually got a different favourite cricketer, and it's not an Indian, which is interesting. AB de Villiers. I do have a lot of respect for AB de Villiers as a cricketer.
And again, within India as well, when you talk about ABD, right? I don't think, I remember I was in, Mumbai watching a match between India and South Africa when South Africa had posted close to about 430 runs on the board. ABD was hitting, sixes all over the park. And you can't imagine, the Indian crowd cheering for when he was hitting sixes, because that's really rare to see, an opposition player getting getting cheered the way ABD gets cheered in India. So obviously, I think you can always say that India is always ABD's second as well.
Oh wow, that's huge, because let's be honest, cricket is a religion over in India. The players are treated like celebrities, so to award that respect to somebody who's not from the same soil is a huge thing, and a huge accomplishment for AB de Villiers as well. But about this game, Deepti 25, we just saw him knock off the champion, and he will be once again representing the Trinbago Knight Riders. But we do have Barbados Royals now coming in here, being represented by Danger Zone. And Danger Zone would have been watching that game, and he would have thought, I cannot believe I have to go up against the guy who just beat the undefeated Destroyer, who just posted the highest score in ECPL 2023 so far. Danger Zone will be shaken in his booties, but we'll just have to wait and see, as Danger Zone now, it looks like he will be batting first. Nice slow ball to start things off from Deepti, but not really timed. It's only going to be a single. So it looks like, unfortunately, Danger Zone is unable to find the correct ball so far. As I say that, though, I eat my words. He finds a 6 straight over square leg. Now, this is where Deepti needs to be very, very careful, because Danger Zone would have been taking notes in that previous game, and Looks like Danger Zone actually going to try for a sweep outside the off stump, and it's only going to land another single. Now, if the last game is anything to go by, that's not going to be enough. We saw Deep D going boundary after boundary after boundary, and, 8 runs off 3 balls is probably not the way to go. That should be called a wide, and it will be. So, Kajil, after what you've seen so far, do you think that Danger Zone has done enough?
Not so far, but then again, there's still about 9 balls to go, and shots like that, might just not help you out there, right? Because suddenly you're looking at 4 balls being bowled, and you're only there for about 9 runs. I still feel, I've been saying it right throughout this ECPL 2023 tournament that if you are to get anywhere close to, if you are to get anywhere close to a score of 40 after 2 overs, I think you need to have at least 15 to 20 runs on the board after over 1, because I think 40 is a par score, so far across this tournament that we've observed over the last 4 days. But then again, things like those just sort of throws, always throw some surprises there. I really hope Danger Zone finds a way to sort of pull things back from here on, because he started off the tournament really well, but then again has sort of faltered his way through. 3 back-to-back losses, yesterday, and then again, this is a very, very sort of uncomfortable situation that he's finding himself.
Yeah, he's got work to do, that's for sure, but that's a good way to start. First ball of the second over, hit straight through 6. And we'll need to put, the last ball, because there was that wide, apologies. So now we head into the second over. Danger Zone, he's racked up 15 so far, but it's nowhere near 55 that we saw from Deep D in the first game. A Yorker from Deep D, and that, if he's hit on the front, don't know how that was not given out, must have been an inside edge, but a dot ball is a dot ball here, Kashil, valuable in this game.
Absolutely, and we've seen, Yorker length balls, being bowled in the tournament so far. It has been 50-50 so far at this point, where, there are few players who've been able to time the ball beautifully, Yorker length balls. But again, then there have been players who sort of missed the line completely, right? So, again, I think that's a go-to ball there. But then again, if you're coming up against a player like Danger Zone, I think you would want to be really cautious.
That's a great catch in the deep, and just a little bit of a mistimed shot there from Danger Zone. He was a little bit sad with that one, as you would be. It sounded all right off the bat, but a diving catch will send Faf all the way back. And they're starting to run out of top order batsmen here, is Danger Zone. And the Barbados Royals will be looking at this going, hang on a minute. The Trinbago Knight Riders shouldn't be doing this. Where did Deep D come from? He's just emerged out of nowhere today. Second game, back-to-back.
No ball.
And this time he's bowling first. Looks like this one's actually just going to go straight to the fielder. And I don't think this is enough runs so far here from Danger Zone, but a bit of an overstep from Deep D. And that's going to be a free hit. So Danger Zone will be looking to send this one into orbit.
We've just seen the first no ball of this tournament. Across these 4 days, I think this is the first no ball that we've seen, a player bowling. But then again, beautifully Deepthi has pulled this game back into his favor. And then again, I think this is going to be Deepthi's day. Day 4 is going to be Deepthi's day.
Another 6 for Danger Zone. We'll put him on, I believe, 29. But Deepthi will be looking at that with very wide eyes, thinking this is possible. This is easily doable. 31 runs for Deepthi to win. Let's see if we can get this into the second innings without a hitch. But Danger Zone, I don't think he'll be too pleased with himself with that one. We saw a couple sad-faced emojis there. He knows that he can do better, knows that some of those shots weren't exactly timed as well as he would have liked. There were some good catches that came from Deepthi, and that field placement was perfect for the way he was bowling, bowling all of the Yorkers right up, giving the batsman no bounce, making every shot a half volley, which means the timing has to be perfect, something that Deepthi identified Danger Zone wasn't exactly doing as well as he would have liked, and just continued to abuse that little crack in the armour.
Absolutely. I think Danger Zone obviously feels that he's 10 to 15 runs too short here because I'm pretty sure he's watched Deepti bat in the previous game, and then again, we've seen Deepti hit 4 sixes in 1 over, in his previous match. But then again, I don't think Deepti is taking things too. Deepti is taking things for granted here. Because obviously situation and things are different when you're batting first, and then it is different when you're chasing, right? Because I think as we saw in the last match, when you're chasing those initial few balls, right? If you hit sixes on those initial 2-3 balls, I think you're suddenly in the game. You're looking forward to chasing the total down comfortably. But then again, as we saw, Destroyer 3 getting faltered, being the Goliath, as you mentioned, rightly. Him sort of giving those 2 balls at the very start, I think he was right under pressure from there on. So I think Danger Zone would still be able to defend the score of 30 here, but for that to happen, one of the key things that he would want to focus on is to get those dot balls, in the first 3 balls. I think a couple of them in the first 3 balls should help because that puts Deepti right under pressure, because then you only have 9 balls remaining, and then you're looking at about 25, 28 runs to get, right, in 9 balls, and that's difficult, right? You're suddenly under pressure. So I think key for both of them here is, for Deepti, obviously, just start the batting, just start his batting innings the way he approached in the previous game. And at the same time, Danger Zone, I would sort of, I'm expecting to see. I am expecting to see an aggressive field setting from him here, because he would want to get those 2 or 3 dot balls at the very start.
And that's all it takes, isn't it? It is only 2 or 3 dot balls, but it is only 31 runs for Deepti to get. And if the first game's anything to go by, that's another day at the office for him. But we will just have to wait and see. We're going to throw to a very, very short break. When we return, we will see if that 31 runs can be chased down by Deepti. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you just missed the first half of this game, it is Deepty going up against Danger Zone. Danger Zone didn't really put on that big of a total. It was only 30 runs, which means Deepty now coming into bat only has to get 31. I'm Jake, joined by Kashil. And Kashil, what do you make of that? Do you think that Danger Zone can actually defend this, given some very precision style bowling?
I think the first 3 balls are going to tell us, which way the match is going to go. I think that's pretty clear because the moment you have those 2 or 3 dot balls at the very start, let's say in the first 4 or 5 balls, that's pretty much going to define, how the match is going to go down, right? If you have about 12 runs in 3 balls, or let's say 16 runs in 3 balls, I think you're going to go there. You're going to go chase down the total comfortably. But then again, if you are looking at a score of, let's say, about 6 or 7 runs, with 2 or 3 dot balls being goal, I think Deepty suddenly going to find himself under pressure there.
So it is going to all come down to this. Lots of pressure straight into it. Yes, the game has reconnected. It will be Danger Zone bowling. He's just going to set his field here, looking very, very heavy on the boundary on both the off and the leg side. Just bringing actually a few of those members up, so into catching positions, not quite on the rope. So I don't know, we might see a couple slower balls here from Danger Zone, but he's going to start out with a slow Yorker, but it looks like it's timed not that great, straight down the throat. So wicket first ball, but more importantly, no runs for Shield.
Absolutely, dot balls being the key here. Doesn't matter, right, if you're losing the wicket. But I still think because the score is not too much, like, we saw a 50+ score in the last game. But then again, this is still salvageable. Even if you've lost, if you've given away 1 dot ball there and you've also lost a wicket. But I think a couple of boundaries or a couple of sixes are just going to get you back in the game.
Well, so far it's not looking like that, and those catching men that we saw Danger Zone pulling off the ropes on the leg side have had instantaneous effect. Deepty just not actually timing those first 2 balls at all. And Danger Zone actually in this with a low total, starting off his campaign very, very well here for a defence.
One other thing, right, how things have gone for Danger Zone, yesterday, I think, those 3 losses would definitely be hurting him. And he would want, he's itching to get back there, right? He's itching to get back his 5th win. And then again, I think that's just how he's approaching the game right now.
And we saw Deepty put on an absolute batting masterclass in the first game of the day in this tournament. And now it's like, it's like yin and yang, black and white. It's complete polar opposites. Danger Zone in control here. That's going to be the first 6 that Deepty has picked up. And it's on the 4th ball, only for a total of 7 runs so far. So Danger Zone, yes, he started off fantastic, but he can't afford too many of them. He's just bowling these sort of almost half volleys. And Deepty is taking them, but again, not timing them at all. What's happening?
So one of the things, right, whenever, somebody, let's say, for example, Destroyer 3 in the previous game or Deepty in this game, these guys have been superbly brilliant when they've been batting first. Again, only a couple of players who've been able to post, 50+ scores. But then again, suddenly, because the amount of pressure while chasing is comparatively high compared to when you're batting first. So I think pressure here is something that's getting on to the players, because otherwise, I think these guys have been somebody, who've been timing the ball, just perfectly, right? But then again, while chasing, when you see the stats, when you see the scoreboard, when you see, how many runs are required or how many balls, it suddenly gets into your head. So I think that's something that's playing with the player's head here.
Yeah, it's like Deepty can't quite figure out where to place these balls. The line from Danger Zone is just punishing here. He's putting a huge amounts of swing on the ball, and now a run out comes through, which is something that we don't see very often. It almost would seem Deepty It's looking like if this continues, he will be out of this in a couple more balls. Danger zone well in control. What's that, 4 wickets now that have been taken? Deepty barely pushing 20 runs. I mean, this could be Danger Zone's day now. We spoke a little bit about it being Deepty's day, but Danger Zone, he's got 4 balls left. Deepty still has, 16 runs to make. The margin for error is low, and that's a half tracker that probably should have been put over the fence, but it will go for 4. So runs on the board are runs on the board, but a little bit more is needed from Deepty. 3 more. Danger Zone, a little bit surprised with that one, Kashil.
Absolutely. He needs, Deepty needs 3 more of those balls. But again, things like things like these just won't help. Losing the wickets, and more importantly than losing the wickets, I think it is the dot balls that count, because it's a 2-over game. If you going to have a lot of dot balls, I think that's going to be key in defining, whether or not you're going to win the game or not. So, but still very much possible. I think still about 2 balls to go. 12 runs to tie. So I think tie is the maximum that Deepty can look at from here, unless Danger Zone makes some kind of mistake. But I don't think he's in any mood. He's in any mood to make any sort of mistakes. I think we are very much seeing that with the kind of field placements that he's been setting up. And I think pressure. It's all about pressure here. Pressure's just getting onto Deepty.
It's hard to hit a Yorker for a 6. Let's be real. And that's what Danger Zone is bowling. Nothing but Yorkers. He might mix up a ball like this one. It's the last one. He throws it halfway down the track. Just a little bit of a bait thrown out there to Deepty, and he takes it. And Danger Zone is just taking wickets away from Deepty. The man who knocked off the undefeated destroyer gets humbled straight away. And Danger Zone, with a seemingly low total of 30 runs, actually manages to defeat Deepty in game number 2. Incredible scenes.
Absolutely. And again, I think batting first and batting second makes all the difference in the world, because we saw, Deepty scoring 55 in game 1 when he was batting first. And then again, scoring only about 19 runs, 18 runs when he was batting second. I think it makes a lot of difference. What are your thoughts, Jake? If you are one of these players, again, from the games that you've seen so far, what do you think sort of makes more sense? If you win the toss, what is it that you would like to do? Whether you would want to opt to bat first or bowl first?
I mean, it's hard, right? It really depends if you favour yourself as a batsman or a bowler, and it also depends on the how you're feeling on the day. Deepty would have been feeling great as going in as a batsman, especially after innings in the score he put up in the first game. He would have been confident coming into the second one, but again, I don't know. I would rather. Honestly, personally, I would rather probably bat first and then try and finesse with the ball in the second innings. But it is what it is, and these professional players will probably put both of us to bed. We're going to go to a short break, Kashil, but on the other side, we'll have game number 3 of the ECPL Day 4.
A chance for the batting lineup to display their fine set of skills. A good opening stand will be the key here. Good show by the fielders. Timing excellent, batsman in great form here, and that's another huge 6. Racing over the edge as this corker of a game draws to a conclusion. That shot would have made me proud if I'd hit it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ECPL 2023. It is day number 4. My name is Jake, and I am joined by Kashil. Kashil, we've had 2 amazing games so far today. First game, we saw Deepti knock off, the destroyer himself, the undefeated, now handed 1 loss, but then Deepti going up against Danger Zone, and that's exactly where he found himself, smack bang in the middle of it, and then going down to Danger Zone. So Deepti 1 win, 1 loss today. And I tell you what, this day of ECPL is absolutely popping off. Kashil, the next game we have got will be Raj going up against Sanaman, and this is going to be a huge one. Both of these players with a lot to prove.
Absolutely, and as things stand, these are these players are seeded number 5, and number 6, and I don't think any of them would want to find themselves in that position. I think they would certainly want to make it into the top 4 as we sort of move towards the business end of the tournament. But again, one thing that I can certainly say at this point of time is that from the 2 games that we have seen so far today, I don't think there are any clear favorites. Who's going to finish in the top 4? The table is still wide open. Quite a few games still to go. Anything can happen.
Yeah, and that's why we love this tournament. It's just like the T20 itself, just like the CPL. Anybody can take this out. But our first player that we alluded to for this game will be Raj. And now Raj, representing St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, Gautam Gambhir as his favourite player. Now that is a batsman I have not heard for a very long time.
It's and I think Saini Aman's favorite cricketer is Virat Kohli as well. So I think so yeah, but then again, Gautam Gambhir, I think he's always been he's a legend of the game. Obviously, when it comes to Indian cricket, has been very aggressive, whether he's been in a coaching role or in a player role. But then again, just that aggression is going to help you get over the line here.
Yeah, lots of respect. I couldn't agree more. Absolute legend of the game, on and off the field. The player that he's going up against, Sanaman, and Sanaman's only picked up, I believe, 1 win for the tournament so far. Favourite cricketer, Virat Kohli, and just like Virat, does have his ups and downs, as everybody does. And you know what? For the rank of beginner 2, to find yourself qualifying for, this competition in the top 6 in the world, that's quite incredible.
Absolutely, but again, one thing that that we've seen from Saini Aman so far in this tournament has been that he's been bowling well, but then again it's been his batting, and majority of the times it's also so happened that toss has not gone his way, and he's most certainly most often being looked at somebody who's been chasing the total rather than setting up one. So I think that is a change that I would like to see here. If Saini Aman wins the toss, I would like to see him go bat first.
It looks like I actually missed that. Did you manage to catch that? Who won the toss? Looks like Sanaman's going to be batting.
Yeah, so Raj won the toss, and again, one thing we've seen from Raj as well, just like Destroyer 3, whenever he's won the toss, he's elected to bowl first. So I think different tactics, different game plans that all of these players have. But again, I think this is something that we would have liked to see from Saini Aman. He's getting to bat first here. He had 5 losses on the trot when he began the tournament. But then again, he was able to pull one win back. Yesterday, day 3 of the tournament when he was batting first. So I think this is a perfect platform for him to sort of get another win.
Well, that's a good ball to start things off. You can see the placement there, just really getting in the head of Sanneman, Raj must know that he's been struggling with his batting. Look how he whips around the placement there, and that field placement. I was going to mention that a lot of the fielders for Raj have actually been placed on the circle. So in that catching position, hoping for the missed time, looking to abuse the fact that Sanneman just hasn't really been able to find his timing so far this tournament. And there we can see a wicket falling. So already one down, Raj with a slight advantage, but still quite a few balls to play. Sanneman needs to start finding this boundary as quick as he possibly can.
And one thing, Jake, right? Those are 2 dot balls so far. I think you only have about 10 balls to go out there, and then again, that's a third one. Okay, it's a wicket, but more importantly, in the context of the game, given that you only have 12 balls to bat here, I think, having 3 successive dot balls on the trot is certainly going to even put you under pressure, even if you are setting up a total there. Because now, suddenly things are into a mix. You don't know what the perfect score is at the end of 2 overs. And how many runs he's looking forward to getting. And then again, at the same time, knowing that he's already sort of faced those 3 dot balls.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a short game, isn't it? The pressure really does mount very, very quickly. And have a look at just that in-swinger from Raj. His bowling has been absolutely on point so far. It's the first 2 runs on the board here for Sanneman, and it's taken him 4 balls. That is absolutely incredible. The wickets don't really matter. It's all about those dots. When you're playing as India in this game, everyone's batting is basically the same. This ball's gone sky high as well. That was lucky not to be caught out. Lands inside the circle. Actually going back for a second run here. Does manage to get it. And given the way this has gone for Sanneman so far, he needs to squeeze out every single run that he possibly can. Again, Raj just making him think about where he's going to place this. And then again, on the leg stump, but that is read like a book by Sanneman. And he does find his first 6 at the end of the over. So not the greatest first over, 10 runs on the board. But as we head into the second one, this is his time to shine.
And one other thing, right? Even while you're batting first, and even when you have 4 successive dot balls on the trot very early on, it is very, very difficult to come back from that sort of a situation, because obviously we saw a great shot getting hit for a 6 there, but then again the very next ball we are seeing a wicket, and then again more importantly a dot ball as well. So we've so far in 7 balls we've seen close to about 5 dot balls being bowled. A couple of one double being taken and a 6 being hit. But still, if I was Saini Aman, I would actually want to get to a score of anywhere between 25 to 30, which is very much still possible, because obviously it's a 12 ball game. I think what all of us are looking forward to here is those 6s getting hit. Suddenly equations. One of the matches that we saw yesterday, right? One, I think it was Destroyer 3, who was match from day 3. He only got about 7 runs on the board at the end of 6 balls, but then he ended up hitting 5 sixes, and suddenly his score was about 41 or 42 at the end of 12 balls, and he was able to win that match comfortably. So I still won't count Saini Aman out of the match, even though it's not an ideal score that he would have liked at this point, batting first, but you never know, right? We've seen double wicket maidens. We've seen the lowest score of 6 in the tournament as well so far. I think anything is possible at this point of time, and I think he's going to want to keep his calm, and that would be my suggestion to him. Keep his calm. Play the way that you've been playing so far in the tournament. Do not, because we can clearly see the pressure's getting onto him, right? Those initial 2 dot balls, and then again, giving those 2 catches as well. I think the pressure's getting onto him, and I think he needs to put up some kind of score that he's able to defend. So
But Raj isn't giving him anything to. He's not making it easy for him. I mean, you see the way he's landing this placement. He's swinging it in, swinging it out, slower balls. Yorker length, leg stump, off stump. He's an absolute. It's a lucky dip with every single ball that you are getting from Raj here, and poor Sanyaman just really. No fault of his own, just can't answer it. Raj is just all over him at the moment. We're going to take a very short break and we'll just see on the other side who will be walking away with the victory in this match. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ECPL 2023 Day 4. If you were watching before the break, you would have been witnessing a game between Raj and Sanyaman. And we have just gotten word that due to a couple of difficulties, we are going to be restarting this game from the top. So everything that you saw for the last couple of minutes, completely forget about it. We are going to go all the way again. It's going to be 2 overs for each of these players. I'm Jake, joined by Kashil. Kashil, what do you make of this?
I think this just gives Saini Aman a very good opportunity to sort of bounce back in the game, sort of start the game fresh, because nothing can be done about the connectivity issues or the connectivity difficulties that these players come across. But I think this sort of gives a fresh opportunity to Saini Aman, and at the same time, obviously Raj had been bowling brilliantly. I don't think he should be too affected by it, but obviously it might feel bad on his part. But then again, if he's able to bowl the kind of line and length that he was bowling, I don't think it is going to make a lot of difference there, because I think to be able to win the toss, bowling first, not caring about how much the opposition is going to set, how much score the opposition is going to set up. I don't think Raj is bothered by any of these facts, right? So I think he's going to keep it very simple, very normal, and would want to sort of replicate the kind of efforts that he was able to do before we got disconnected.
Do you think if Raj wins the toss, do you think he's going to bowl, considering how well he bowled in that first innings and how all over Sanyaman he was?
Absolutely. One reason being, historical data as well. So about 7 or 8 minutes and the toss, 100% prizes there. I think that's his game plan. We've seen, there are, other than 4 other players always opted to bat first after winning the toss, but Raj and Destroyer 3 have been a couple of players who have always opted to bowl first. So I don't think there are going to be any surprises there in that manner. And at the same time, I also feel that Saini Aman is also going to bat first. So it is going to be in favor either ways. He was one. So to be honest, Raj, Saini Aman here has the opportunity to get into Raj's head. If he wins the toss, put Raj into batting first, right? Because that's a situation Raj has not sort of found himself in so far in this tournament. Let's see.
Well, I mean, Raj, I actually don't mind that tactic, because if you've done nothing but bowl first and then you lose the toss, you're thinking that, okay, my opponent's just going to send me into bowl anyway because Sanyaman loves to bat. But I think if Sanyaman can sort of flip the script a little bit here, let's have a look. It's all going to come down to this. If you can win this toss and bowl, send Raj into bat first, it may just disrupt his game plan just a little bit. It looks like it will be Sanyaman winning the toss and he will bat first. So both players playing to their strengths. Sanyaman not seizing the opportunity to just rattle Raj in the mental side of things, but it's okay. Sanyaman is getting his second chance here, like a phoenix risen from the ashes. It's his rebirth, so to speak. This game is starting from the top as Raj again bowling. Kajil, I think Raj, like you said, this is just going to play to his strengths. It's comfortable cricket for him, and comfortable cricket is, that's where we all play our best cricket.
But then again, you always have to challenge yourself, because at some point of time you might, you would see yourself playing in the playoffs, and I don't think you would want to be in a very comfortable situation there, because you're going to get uncomfortable when you're playing the playoffs, because it's going to get harder and harder, right? So I think one thing that the players also need to sort of look into doing is sort of challenge themselves on an individual level during this round robin tournament, round robin stage. For one very simple reason being, if you're too comfortable at this point, suddenly a loss would sort of hurt you, a lot more. So I think, it's always good to challenge yourself, find yourself in those uncomfortable situations, and then be able to sort of successfully navigate that away.
So that ball there, we saw Raj again just being an absolute blitz with his placement. And we saw Sanyaman actually step away, and Raj, at the very last second, decided to throw that ball wide resulting in Saint-Germain towing it off the bat as he tried to put it between, I don't know, fine leg and square leg, it looked like, somewhere back over square. Was unable to do so. So it's a better start for Saint-Germain than we saw in the first match, but still not fantastic. This Yorker leg side line from Raj is very, very difficult for Saint-Germain to put over the fence.
And obviously, one of the things behind that is the pressure part of it. I think we've been repeating the pressure thing, quite a lot here, because these guys have all of these players have at least played 5 or 6 matches so far, and we sort of have a sense of how these guys go about their game, and we can clearly see if anything is off track at any point of time, we can clearly see that that these guys are under pressure there. And when you are under pressure, right, and as we saw in the last game, right, with danger zone, coming out on top of Deepti, was that even after being so motivated, even after being able to score the highest score in the tournament, when the pressure gets to you, you're struggling to find boundaries. Just you're easily finding fielders there, and you're struggling to find boundaries. But a very good comeback here from Saini Aman, to be able to get 25 in the first over, for no loss at this stage. I think I would anyway take that.
Yeah, a much better outing. Yet to lose a wicket, yet to actually be on the receiving end of a dot ball. So it's been a score fiesta here so far. And again, Saint-Germain is finding all of these runs over the top of square and fine leg, just in, I don't want to say a gap because it's taking the aerial route, but he's finding his timing with these shots. All of a sudden, Raj's bowling tactics, there's another one down the leg side, and Saint-Germain almost sending that to the rope again. So the fielders down at fine leg definitely doing work here.
And if I was Saint-Germain, right, I would look to get at least about 16 runs more from here on, next 4 balls. If I were to score, any competitive total at all for Raj to chase, obviously, from within that, we've already seen 6 being scored, and I think we're going to obviously go well past the par score that we've seen in the tournament of 40. But I think that's very much possible with still 2 balls to go. So I think whatever score Saint-Germain has been able to put up so far, if he's able to add on let's say about 7 or 8 runs more from here on, I think he's going to put Raj into a lot of pressure from ball 1. And one thing I can always vouch about Saint-Germain is maybe his batting has faltered right throughout the tournament, but he's been good with his bowling. His line and length has been something that's been really, that is really something that can be looked forward to. So I think he's putting himself in a very comfortable situation.
Again, he scored all his runs in the same position. This is where Raj needs to, yes, throw it wide like that. But again, the timing from Saint-Germain, another 6. So this is a huge fight back here. He's put on 51 runs for one or 2 wickets. Absolutely huge. One wicket. And all of a sudden, the pressure that we saw Raj apply in the first innings of the first game is just flipped on its head. And Saint-Germain, representing the St. Lucia Kings, is all of a sudden in with a chance here. Yes, he's at the bottom of the leaderboard, but he's still at least 6th best in the world, right? Like, that's not to discount him at all. As the innings change now, Raj has to be on fire here from the very first ball. Dot balls will be his undoing here. Wouldn't you say so, Bashir?
I think so, but again, who would have thought that he would have even, gotten to a score of 50 when we were talking about a par score of 40. He ended up scoring 51 on the board. And now I'm very much looking forward to how Raj goes about counter-attacking, Saint-Germain's bowling. Because Saint-Germain's bowling has been something right throughout this tournament, even though, the final match result has not been in his favor, but he bowled some beautiful balls, right? and just like that, that's the way. That's exactly the way to start. Not only it is a wicket, it's a dot ball as well. To start with, and when we were seeing 52 to get off 12, now we're seeing 52 to get off 11, and that one ball really counts, right? But then again, he's not out of this match yet. Next 2 or 3 balls are really going to tell us the kind of approach that he's going to have.
Yeah, so a great start here from Sanyaman with that wicket. Going straight in for a Yorker here. Looks like it will be the first couple runs on the board. 4 of them, in fact, here for Raj. So it hasn't been the greatest start, but he's definitely not down and out yet. Remember, Sanyaman was only hitting, I think his first 3 balls only went for 2 runs each. So it took him 3 balls to get 6 runs on the board, as Sanyaman just going to change the field a little bit here. Interesting, Raj sending in that left-hander. We've seen the right-hander from Sanyaman absolutely dominate, but that left-hander coming in had absolutely no value whatsoever. Another Yorker, and that is a huge dot ball on the board here. All of a sudden, Raj finds himself in a very unfavourable position pressure-wise. This ball could be the teller here. Straight at the feet, and it looks like it's going to be smacked over the covers for a 6. So a good reply there from Raj.
Absolutely, but for Raj to be at least anywhere close to the total that Sanyaman's posted, these 2 balls need to go first.
The timing on that didn't look fantastic. A 4 though is better than a 0, that's for sure. Not as great as a 6, but Raj limping towards the total from Sanyaman, but 4s you think just aren't really going to cut it here. That he does have to hit those maximums. He does have to find those 6s. Yes, it is still first over. It is the last ball, but Raj really needs to turn it up here. That is a bit of a wide one thrown out there by Sanyaman, but it will go for 6. So Raj almost cutting that away with a drive. Nicely done. 20 runs on the board. He's going to have to do a little bit more to walk away with the victory here.
And with Raj, obviously,
nice.
Start was not that great, but then again, the way he's pulled back, we're seeing some perfectly timed shots there, which are going all the way for 6. So obviously, from here on, I think the key here for Raj would be to not sort of experiment anything, but just sort of play the shot in line with the in length of the line of the ball. So I think mistime shots like that just sort of disrupt the momentum a little bit, right? Because that's all you need. A dot ball there, you were so good, you hit those couple of 6s with such a flair, but then again, that one mistime shot sort of disrupts the momentum, and you know that you're chasing 50 plus and 12 plus.
It was the shot selection there as well as the timing. I mean, Sanyaman just in Raj's head there, and that just may be the nail in the coffin. Although Raj not going down without a fight. There's only 4 balls remaining, 3 after this one, but he sends him over the rope. 32 runs now for Raj. Interesting here if he can send a message to Sanyaman, who's really turned it up here on the bowling side. Nice slower ball there, but I was going to say read well, but not well enough. Straight down the throat of the man at backward point. And it looks like Sanyaman is going to be walking away with the victory in this game.
Looks like it certainly, Jake. Obviously, Sanyaman got off to a good start in the game, was able to score 50 plus. Raj, I think, those initial 2-3 balls, right? When you're batting second, those initial 2-3 balls are going to tell, whether or not you're going to make it there. He had a slow start. He pulled it back a bit, but then again, we saw those couple of dot balls and slash wickets falling there, and suddenly, obviously, this game sort of going into Sanyaman's bag here.
We spoke a lot about Raj's bowling and how even before the ball was bowled, he was making Sanyaman guess. But Sanyaman, he doesn't have as much flair as Raj, but he's able to change up his speeds and his swings. It's not about so much his placement as it is about his ball movement in the air. So that is going to be Sanyaman walking away with the victory here. 51 runs on the board, unable to be chased down by Raj. And the St. Lucia Kings will be happy to pick up the win there.
Absolutely. And, having having the comfort of a 50 plus score already on the board was something that Saini Aman capitalized on. He was able to experiment a bit there, with his bowling, as you mentioned, right, with the flair part of it. I think having scored more than 50 runs on the board, sort of gave him that opportunity, that room to experiment quite a few things, because I saw that this is match 3 of day 4, and this was the first left-arm bowler that sort of took the second over to bowl, right? So I think he was experimenting a bit there, knowing I think he had a slight idea at the end of over 1 that this was pretty much in his bag.
Yep, so comfortable in the end there from Sanyaman. So it took a couple restarts to get there, but a win on the board, that'll do wonders for his campaign. Maybe by the end of this tournament, he may find himself off the bottom of the board, but it's going to take a little bit more than that. We look forward to seeing a lot more from both Sanyaman and Raj, but don't go too far, ladies and gentlemen, because we have got a couple more games here for the ECPL 2023 right after the break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ECPL 2023. It is day number 4, and all of these players have put on amazing games for us so far today. We've had 3, we've got 3 more to go. My name is Jake, joined by Kashil. And Kashil, what do you think of the games we've had so far today? We've seen we've seen history in ECPL.
I think one of the things that I've obviously seen is, there are no clear favorites at this point of time, who are going to top 4, because even the 6th place team is being able to, beat the top seeded player. And then again, obviously there's a clash that's going on mid-table and at the bottom of the table. So I think we are seeing a lot of changes in there. Suddenly we are seeing Saini Aman with 2 men, climbing up the ladder. Raj, I think he would have to pick up on some kind of pace here, to be able to qualify for the top four. But I think what I've seen so far has been very interesting. And then again, I'm looking forward to exciting remaining three matches from here on.
Well, speaking of the remaining three matches, the one that we're going to be bringing you next will be Deepti going up against Tejash Mahera. And we've seen the Trinbago Knight Riders captained by Deepti at the moment, who's been absolutely... Well, his first game he was on fire. Second game, not so much. He was humbled quite quickly. But Tejash Mahera, first time we're seeing the Jamaica Talawas in this, today so far. I'm excited to see, he would have been watching this game. I'm excited to see what notes he took and how he's going to adapt that into his gameplay. But Deepti here for our first player. We know how strong of a player Deepti is. I mean, he knocked off the undefeated Destroyer in game number 1. That's something that we'll be talking about for quite some time because we're in the second half of the competition and he handed the first loss to the top-seeded player. That's huge, challenging that MS Dhoni's favourite cricketer, always coming in clutch when his team needs it the most. But I tell you what, he has got one hell of a challenge ahead of him, that is for sure, going up against Tejash Mahera for the Jamaica Talawas. His favourite player, Rohit, that's huge. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, is Rohit still the one-day captain of India?
Rohit is the all-format captain for India right now.
There we go.
All formats.
That's huge. Absolutely huge. So, look, there's no bigger, other than Virat Kohli, of course, there's probably no one bigger in Indian cricket at the moment than Rohit Sharma. So we'll have to see if Tejash Mahera can, knock off Deepti, who is arguably having, one of the best runs so far. Yes, he went down in game number 2, but that doesn't matter so much because he knocked off the best. Does that make Deepti the best here, Kashil?
I would say so. I would say so for sure because I think what you're going to see in this game with Tejas is the ruthlessness. If the moment you count him out of the game, I think he'll find a way back to come back into the game. And I think his game is going to show you just that. Yes, it's been an even day so far for Deepti, but then again, Deepti needs to pick up on all the positives from the previous 2 games, not let the negatives get too much into his head. But very exciting to see, how Deepti sort of counters Tejas' ruthlessness here, because Tejas being somebody, Destroyer has been destroying all kind of bowling lineups, but Tejas has been very ruthless. With his bowling, with his batting, and absolutely with the field placements as well. So, interesting matchup here. Looking forward to it.
So Tejash will be bowling first. Deepti takes to the crease as Tejash not actually going for, I was going to say not going for a manual field, but finds the one he wants and then places his fielders accordingly. You can see him bringing in quite a few off the rope, sort of halfway into the circle here. That tells me that he's going to be looking for those catches, hoping that Deepti can mistime a few of those shots. And, considering game number 2, he would have been watching that where Deepti really didn't have the best batting performance. He'll be looking to sort of channel and sort of abuse that fact, turn that leaky tap into a full-blown faucet explosion. First ball comes in, and it looks like it's not timed fantastically from Deepti, but he'll take it. It looks like a wide called first ball, according to the according to the tracker. There, we'll have to wait and see. So just while we get this one, back and underway here, Kashil, Tejash is one of these players that you say is ferocious. If you had to attribute him to any player in world cricket at the moment, who would he be?
Any player at the moment, I would say Ben Stokes.
Oh yeah, okay, I like that. That's a good answer. Ben Stokes, I'll never forget that knock he had a couple of years ago in the Ashes when he hit the winning runs and the stand just erupted behind him. Maybe Tejash will be thinking about that, but it's a good start here so far from Deepti. 7 runs on the board, 1 wicket so far. That looks plumb, and it is LBW. A dot ball, a valuable dot ball here for Tejash, and Deepti just struggling to get off to a flyer, which we saw him doing game number 1, really set the tone and pace of this game. Just had the brakes firmly applied here by Tejash.
And I think that would have been the kind of momentum that obviously Tejas would have wanted in the side after 3 balls. Obviously he's been hit for 7 runs, but then again I don't think he would mind too much of that. But obviously if he lets Deepti go on and score sixes like those, I think if it's only a matter of time, right, Jake? 2 balls, if there are two dots, just like that, the bowling side is suddenly on top, and then again, if you have 2 sixes, or 2 sixes and a couple of boundaries, I think you're suddenly in, on course to set up a big total. But then again, as I mentioned, I think the way I would compare Tejas's game to Ben Stokes here, because I think he wants to entertain. I think he wants to entertain people. He wants to give a result, and I think one of the things that he's also wanting to do is obviously come out on top. So I think the way you asked me, right, if I were to sort of relate his game to one of the current players in the game of cricket, I think he's just sort of his approach seems to me like the approach that Ben Stokes.
He's that battler, isn't he? Yeah, and he's definitely showing that. As Deepti, it looks like that one's going to go for 6. Oh, resync coming in, but looks like that one did. Yep, it did actually go for 6, and it looks like we're going to actually see the bowler come left arm around the wicket. So a change of line here, and it results in a dot ball. So may have just caught Deepti off guard. Now he's back over the wicket. Interesting stuff here. And another dot ball. I love this from Tejas. I can see it. I can see it, Ever since you said the name Ben Stokes, just the way he started bowling ever since then is, this is nasty stuff.
And one thing, Jake, with, bowling a left-armer to a right-handed batsman, whether you're bowling around the wicket, or whether you're bowling over the wicket, over the wicket, it's coming into you. Around the wicket, around the wicket, it's coming into you. Over the wicket, it's moving away from you. It's always going to be difficult. And we've not seen a lot of players sort of implementing that strategy today. But then again, I think people are going to sort of take examples from this particular.
Trying the reverse sweep there. Not coming off. Oh, and he goes for the run as well. And run out on a wide? Interesting stuff. Looks like it will be another ball coming through. So the last ball here for Deepti. And he sees it well. And it will go for 6. So a good finish there for Deepti. Maybe not enough runs on the board. Only 32. And Tejas definitely can take this. But, we've seen Deepti put up a score like this going up against Destroyer, and Destroyer just getting the win. So low totals don't really mean that much. Deepti's more than happy to play this. His bowling, I think he's more than happy to defend against it. I'd be excited to see what Tejas can do with the bat, though. That's what's, you've spoken a lot about his bowling. Is he as good with the bat as he is with the ball here, Shield?
I think so, because, obviously we've seen a score of 30 getting defended today, and I think Deepti's still in the match of, getting, still defending that. But with Tejas, one thing, I've seen, one unique thing that I've seen about him is that's one particular player who have not seen, seen struggle, under pressure. So say, for example, you've seen, players batting, right? When chasing, batting second when chasing, struggling to find the boundaries, finding the fielders, mistiming the shot. I think that's something that you're not going to find Tejas, you're not going to find Tejas in that kind of a situation. Because even though he loses, a couple of wickets here and there, he just brushes it off, sort of focuses on timing the ball perfectly, the next ball that's coming up. And again, even if there are a couple of dot balls at the very start, I think there's still a way and there's still time to get back in.
Well, first ball was a wicket, and that is going to be... Okay, that was interesting to watch. Looked like they was going for a cheeky run there as the ball went through to the keeper, but it does come in as a dot. First ball was a wicket, so essentially 2 dot balls here to start things off for Deepti on the bowling attack. And Tejash, I never thought I'd see the day where the Netherlands were up over India. That's a first thing. Maybe we'll have to wait and see with the World Cup. Who knows? Stranger things have happened, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that, as you are, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to 8th of October. It happens to be my birthday as well. India kicks off the camp. Obviously, Australia in Chennai. Very much looking forward to that. Obviously, the finalists from last World Cup, England and New Zealand, sort of starting the campaign off in Ahmedabad. Happens to be one of the biggest stadiums in the world, at par with the MCG right now. Also happens to host the India-Pakistan game on October 14th. So obviously very much excited. Obviously everything. This is the summer of cricket. Let's so to say. Even though maybe the weather's completely different, but then again, we have this ECPL, then we followed by a bilateral series, then a World Cup. I think as a cricket fan, I would have asked for nothing more.
Yeah, and I'm fortunate enough to live in Melbourne. The MCG is that's what I have so many memories of the MCG. Even just last Boxing Day test where Scotty Boland came in and got his fifer on debut. Even when we have the international series as well. It's been a while since we've had a tri series, but I used to love the Australia, India, Pakistan series because you could go as an Australian to an India-Pakistan game and it would still be an incredible game. Like, the rivalry between the two teams is absolutely incredible. When you get those three powerhouses of world cricket together, it's incredible. Australia has a bit of a rivalry with almost everybody. There was a time back in the 80s when West Indies were the rival, then India were the rival. England is everybody's rival. Let's be honest. We all love to beat England at their own game. But yeah, the World Cup is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Maybe we should catch a few games together. It'd be great. Have a viewing party. Why not?
Absolutely. And I think India-Australia happens to be one of those. India-Pakistan happens to be, another one of those. And then again, England-South Africa, England-New Zealand, England-Australia. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be interesting, right? Because we saw what happened last T20, right? I think it was in Melbourne. It was in Melbourne. India versus Pakistan. Obviously India down 32 for 4 at the end of 10 overs, and then be able to come back the way they did. I don't think had it not been for Virat Kohli, I think Pakistan would have comfortably won that match. But brilliant match to see.
It's you can always count on somebody like Virat Kohli. He has his ups and downs, but when the going is tough and you need to rely on somebody, love him or hate him, you have to respect what he can do in a situation like that. And a lot of players throughout the years, especially for India, have been like that. And it's just from team to team to team, there's always that select few players that you can count on. And England have their Ben Stokes that they send in when you need 20 off and over. Virat Kohli is the same thing for India. Australia has its Marnus Labuschagne, and even just last night he did exactly that against South Africa. So cricket is it's a fascinating game. It's a wonderful game, and I'm so excited to be here casting this ECPL. Yes, it's the esports version, but seeing these top players just put on an absolute show representing their CPL teams is incredible. We are back into the game now. Deepti charging into bowl here with a great dot ball to start. Tejash on ball number 2, straight to the fielder. Hey, it's a run on the board, Kashir.
Absolutely. And when you mentioned, right, obviously cricket being a fascinating game, there are quite a few players from the Caribbean as well, right? Kyron Pollard, Wayne Bravo, Sunil Narayan, Andre Russell. Can you believe all of them play for the Knight Riders? Trinbago Knight, right? So, and Trinbago Knight Riders also happens to be the most successful team in the CPL as well. So, I think, any day that the Champions League is, ever to come back, I think Trinbago Knight Riders are going to be one of the favorites to sort of, put themselves in. So.
I miss the Champions League. That was awesome. I can't wait to see if we do another one of them. But another run, only one though, straight to the fielder. Tejas just really struggling to find his timing here. Deepti already 4 balls into his over. And he just seems to be throwing them nice and wide here. Tejas not even moving across the crease, not adjusting his footwork at all with the batsman. And Deepti more than happy just to throw the same ball out over and over again. He knows where, now you can see, he just reads him like a book here. Unfortunately, that goes down the leg side and it will be a wide, but you know, Deepti saw the batsman shuffle across there, tried to adjust his line, unfortunately overcorrected a little bit too much. Again, he tries to follow the batsman, but swings it away from him, and Tejas cuts him for 6. Great shot.
Reminds me of Sachin Tendulkar, 2003. Sachin Tendulkar versus Shoaib Akhtar, right? That was the kind of shot, the 6 over square. The 6 over point, right? I think, and that shot just reminded me of that.
I can see that as well, actually. God, I miss watching Sachin Tendulkar play. Ooh, down the pitch here from Tejas. It doesn't find as much power as he would have liked, but it is a 4. A few more of those. And Tejas may be able to catch up to Deepti's 31 here, but he will need a few more 6s. Another wide ball here. Deepti making it very difficult for Tejas. His footwork is just not there for Shield.
Yeah, I think it's all to do with batting second and players like Tejas as well. I'm surprised to see getting caught up under pressure here, but I think 3 6s should still do the job for him. But any of these gets mixed time, and I think he suddenly sort of hands over the game to Deepti, and that's just exactly what has happened here. I think Tejas sort of has fallen back on the back foot here. Deepti sort of looking to be somebody who's going to come out on top of this game and obviously climb up the ladder as well in the standings as well. One interesting thing that's happening is that all of these players now realize, right, they're more than halfway through the tournament, and some of the other where now they are also sort of concerned about the kind of the position that they're placed on right now. So I think that's also something that's going on in their head, right? But they need to sort of separate that out, right? When they're approaching a match, I think they have to just treat it like any other match now. But it's easier said than done. I understand that because obviously these guys have been playing. But obviously, we would have expected better of Tejas. Here, but he still has about 3 matches to go before the round robin stage sort of ends up. But then again, shots like these, right? This is why I was telling something that been very ruthless when it comes to Tejas's batting.
Yeah, the nice little tickle over the slips there is something that we haven't really seen from any player, well, other than Tejas, and it looks like it will be a win for Deepti, his 2nd win out of 3 games that he's played so far today on screen. So I think he'll be pretty pleased with himself here, considering he knocked off Destroyer. Yes, he stumbled in the middle a little bit there, but got back up on his feet to pick up the victory there over Tejas. And it was basically a bowling class from both of the players. Deepti more so, especially towards the end there. He could see that Tejas just really wasn't moving his feet, and he was more than happy to throw them wide. Yes, he did actually get called on wide a couple times, but it didn't really matter. He was working with millimeters, and it was just enough in the end. But that is game. But it's not set and match. We've got a couple more to go, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go too far. We're going to take a very, very short break. On the other side, we've still got more ECPL action coming your way.
party in sport is back. CPL and WCPL return with more action than ever before.
Are you kidding me? Volley!
Watch the biggest names in cricket battle it out in the race for glory.
Brilliantly! Celebrate some more!
Get your tickets now at cplT20.com or at the box office. Join the party. Experience cricket played louder.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ECPL 2023. It is day number 4 of proceedings, and we are getting towards the pointy end of the night. We have got game number 5 coming up very, very shortly. My name is Jake, joined by Kashil. And Kashil, the games we've had so far today, they've been action-packed, to say the least.
Absolutely, and we've just seen Deepti climbing up from the 5th spot to about 4th spot, and I think that's the kind of situation that Deepti would have wanted to sort of find himself in. But then again, obviously the tournament's still wide open, and we have our next match coming up. It is Danger Zone versus Destroyer 3 here. Top of the table clash, so to say. Obviously first versus second. Danger Zone, obviously, having won 5 matches there with 3 losses. At the same time, Destroyer 3, having had 4 wins and 1 loss. But Danger Zone, I think, complete surprise package. And I think earlier in the day, we were also speaking about, his inspiration, AB de Villiers, right? Yeah. I think, the first game that he approached today, I think it was the perfect way with regards to, how he would have wanted to sort of start his day. But then again, this is match 2 for him now. And suddenly he's coming up against one of the strongest oppositions in this year's tournament. So really looking forward to, what is it that, each of these players sort of intend to do. We know what Destroyer 3 has done all throughout the tournament. After winning the toss, he's elected to bowl first. So really looking forward to seeing what, Danger Zone does here, right? If I was Danger Zone, I would want to mess up with Destroyer 3's head. Destroyer 3 has been somebody who's been wanting to bowl first. But if I was Danger Zone, I would want him to bat first. Would want him to sort of, have him deviate from his game plan out there. So I would want to make him uncomfortable, right from the very start.
Well, I think he already is uncomfortable because before this day started, Destroyer was undefeated. He then lost in the first game to Deepti. And then Deepti in the second game lost to Danger Zone. Now, considering we've got Danger Zone here going up against Destroyer, there's a lot on the line here. There's a lot to break down. And it looks like the toss is going to be won by Danger Zone, and he will bowl first. So Destroyer in uncomfortable territory even more. I think this today, more than any other day, Kashil, Destroyer will be in his own head. This is a game that goes very, very quick. The pressure applies very, very swiftly. And considering, the last couple games that Destroyer has had, and now coming into this one being forced to go into bat, I mean, it's tough for him. And the first ball hasn't even been bowled yet.
One thing I can say for certain is, I think we are going to look at a 45-plus score here. Because whenever, in the 5 games Destroyer has played so far, I think 2 of them had been him batting first. And we saw 50-plus scores getting scored in both of those matches. So really sort of hoping Destroyer to sort of, get that 45-plus score here, but not an ideal way to start for sure. Maybe I'm, caster's curse here, right? And maybe I'm putting too much pressure on him. But obviously, that's how I would have liked to see him bat. One thing, obviously, when you've been unbeaten in the tournament so far, right? I don't think you should let that get into your head because we had earlier seen Raj being undefeated on day 1, sort of losing out 3 matches on day 2. Danger Zone being undefeated on day 2, losing out 3 matches on day 3. I don't want to see a similar scenario for Destroyer 3 here, to be honest. So I would want to see him scoring a few good amount of runs here. Those are 3 dot balls. 2 wickets down, no runs scored. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I would say be careful what you wish for because Destroyer not off to a fantastic start here. Danger Zone already just dictating the flow of this match. Already 2 wickets down. Destroyer, Yeah, 0 runs on the board after 3 balls. Yes, it's a 0 and 2 wickets, but it's essentially 3 dot balls. Another ball coming in now. That's got to be close, and it is out. Oh my goodness. Destroyer having an absolute nightmare, and it will be a hat trick for Danger Zone in this first over. It's only taken 4 balls, and already this top of the table clash is explosive.
And I think, as you rightly mentioned, right at the very start, we were discussing about, if I was Danger Zone, I would want to make Destroyer uncomfortable. I think that's what exactly has been happening here. 4 balls, 3 wickets, even that to a hat trick. Because I think the kind of mindset Destroyer. Oh my God. That's 4 wickets for 0 runs. The one thing, Jake, I think it was day 1. I think it was day 2 of this tournament where, we had seen a team sort of bowling out a maiden over for 2 wickets in the first over. And then again, the team ended up scoring only 6 runs in 12 balls for the loss of 2 wickets. And the chasing team had only about 7 runs to score. So I don't know, right? There's about 7 balls still to go. I really hope that Destroyer 3 doesn't really sort of set up that, unfortunately, unintentionally set up that low score in the tournament here.
Well, he's on the board. So 1 run from the first over. That's it for Destroyer. Currently top of the table in this competition for the Guyana Amazon Warriors. Danger Zone, representing the Barbados Royals, is all over him here. He charges in yet again, and it looks like that one's whipped away over towards square, but doesn't find the rope. And I don't think a run was taken either there. No, it will be a 0. So maybe Destroyer, thinking that was going all the way, decided not to run, or maybe he's just cut his losses. Tries to go for the sweep, and it will actually go for a 6. So a much-needed reprieve here for the current championship leader.
But again, if I was Danger Zone, I would still not mind this kind of score that's still on the table. 9 runs of 9 balls. I think that's not a bad score to have, at this point of time. If I was a bowling team, obviously as a batting team, I would be dreadful. I would be dreadful. I would want to get a couple of 6s here. One of that being those. I would want to get some runs on the board, at least about 20-25 runs on the board for me to be able to defend at least something, right? So I think Destroyer has sort of found the right sort of contact here. He's trying to play all those 6 hitting shots from a reverse sweep angle. Sort of wanting to take that aggressive approach. I think he was struggling to sort of middle it, down the wicket or, onto long on or long off. But I think, 23, I think it's a decent score. I would not say it's a competitive score. It's a decent score. Really depends on how Danger Zone sort of approaches his innings here. Because I don't think 22 is a lot on the board here. So even if he's able to sort of score 12 or 14 of the first over, I think he'll be able to sort of chase down the total comfortably.
I mean, considering where he came from in that first over, right? I mean, 6 runs after 6 balls or something like that? He was not in a good way at all, Destroyer. So to mount a total like that is nothing too shabby at all. Now he gets the chance to bowl, and he's going to have to put on a masterclass because Danger Zone really did control that those 2 overs. So the field placement comes in. Looks like a couple of players stacked more towards, down the ground on the edge of the circle here. There's no protection down the field off the edge of the circle. Will he decide to go? Yes. Decides to charge and gets clean bowled. So Destroyer doing exactly what Danger Zone did to him at the start. We have got a game on our hands.
It's not over until it's over, Jake. I think, this was the right strategy to bring a left-arm bowler in, sort of to a left-hand batsman. I think he's off to a perfect start here, and I think he's listening to us here, right? I don't think he would want us to count him out, and rightly so, right? It's not over until it's over.
Yorker in. Oh, ball around the legs. Destroyer. 2 in a row. Clean bowled. We haven't seen a bowled other than those two so far today here. So Maxwell, back to the pavilion. 2 balls, 2 wickets, both bowled. Destroyer is destroying.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, obviously he loves bowling. I clearly shows, whenever he wins the toss, he opts to bowl first. But then again, bowling second, I think this is still a good way to sort of showcase his bowling skills. Obviously, he would not have expected that. That's 6 too many. I would say at this point of time, given that only have 22 runs on the board and still about 9 balls to go. I think a couple more of those wickets there would really help.
Left arm around, that could be wide. No, does actually manage to get away with it, so it's a dot ball. Danger zone actually backed away there, so that's probably why that wasn't called. Goes in for the Yorker, but read very, very well. Danger zone, nice flick off the pads. Sends it about 10 rows back, so another 6. And as Danger zone marches towards this very low target of 23. 1 ball remaining in the over. He decides to change up his angle again. Left arm around, shoots it in for a Yorker. Down on one knee, danger zone, straight to the fielder. So 12 runs off that first over. 3 wickets. Still, this game, it's in the balance, Kashil.
Absolutely, because at the end of the first innings, from what we have observed so far in this tournament, right, when you're chasing a score, let's say about 20 to 23, I think 12 to 14 runs in the first over is the right kind of runs to get. If you are to sort of leave those 10 runs for the last over, so I think it's pretty much in the balance, as you said, Jake.
Do we ever see a spin bowler come on? Do we see an Ashwin? Do we see a Jadeja? Do we see somebody like that? Another wide ball being thrown out there, but doesn't actually get called. So danger zone, destroyer, just flirting with danger here a little bit. Throws one down the leg side. That should be
That's
a wide, and
is.
Yeah.
And again, on your point of bringing a spinner on, I think it was Tejas on day 2, who was the only player so far in the tournament who was only, because there are only 2 overs, right? Because on all these players sort of feel that, a left arm bowler or a right arm fast bowler is somebody who's going to sort of help them restrict the opposition to a lower score. But then again, one thing that we had seen on day 2 with Destroyer 3 was that he was able to bring a spinner on. And obviously the spinner, personally, I feel that, the only reason that these guys do not want spinners to come on is because too many runs are being leaked, right? Obviously, if there's a loose ball, it's easy to hit the spinner out of the park. But then again, once that ball starts spinning, right, obviously it becomes really difficult. But would really want to see, right? Would really want, as we sort of, narrow down toward the business end of the tournament, I would really want to see some of the spinners at least coming on, because it sort of makes it more interesting in that way.
Another ball going across the face of the batsman, but read very, very well. Danger zone sends it for 6. He's not out of the woods yet, though. 1 more run. Destroyer not happy with that. He's got 2 more balls. They have to be dots. All wickets. He throws it in, but it looks like it's going to be hooked. Is the fielder there? Oh, it bounces just before him. It looks like scores are now level. 1 ball remaining. No, that's it. I thought there was 2 left. It looks like Danger Zone is actually going to walk away with a 1-run victory here. 6 wickets, in fact. Huge, huge stuff there.
And I think that first over really made the difference in, Destroyer 3's batting innings. And I think it really made him uncomfortable, put him into bat. Because I don't think he was really expecting that, because I think even he has been observing that, danger zone, in all his previous games has been somebody who's been opting to bat first after winning the toss. But he did the trick there. He did the trick there on Destroyer 3. He made him bat when he did not want to, made him uncomfortable, got those 4 wickets at the very end, and even a hat-trick, right? Who would have believed getting a hat-trick in the first over? And I think it was game over. Yeah, it was a double hat-trick, my bad. So obviously, the game was sort of tilted in favor of danger zone from there on itself. Obviously 22 was still a decent score. I think, with those first 2 balls, getting those, wickets, clean bowled, I think that was the right way to start. But I don't think, Destroyer ever had, too many runs on the board.
Yeah, just unable to, put the building blocks down to surmount a huge lead there. So unfortunately, Destroyer gets handed his second loss of the night and the tournament, but that is going to be the game. But not all. We have got at least one more coming up here, so don't go too far, ladies and gentlemen. Game 6 coming up here right after the break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ECPL 2023. It's day 4 of the action, and my name is Jake, joined by Kashil. Kashil, we are finally at the last game of the night, and I tell you what, day 4 has been full of surprises.
Absolutely. I was not really expecting, Destroyer 3 to sort of give any sort of room to any of the opposition players. I think he was the leader of the pack here, so to say, right? But I think it's quite clear now that there's no certain first or second. There's no certain third or fourth. There's no certain fifth or sixth. Anybody can finish top 4. I think we have a few more days to go in the tournament, and I think we're really up for surprises here. And with that, we have our last match coming up of the day. We have Deepthi, taking on Saini Aman here. Obviously, Deepthi has had a slightly better tournament so far. Saini Aman got off to a bad start. Obviously 5 losses in 5 games, but then has been able to pull it back on. 2 wins in 2 games, obviously. And Deepthi, full of surprises. With the highest score in the tournament, beating the top-seeded player, sort of, losing out on the other match. We've seen a balanced sort of an output from Deepthi so far, but then again, this match is really going to tell us, right? How are the standings going to be at the end of this day between, I think because of this win, Saini Aman is sort of, if Saini Aman wins this, suddenly has 3 wins on the board, and suddenly the entire table is into a mix.
Well, that's it, right? Will it be the day of Deepthi, or will Saini Aman stand in his way? Deepthi has had a phenomenal day so far. He's picked up 2 wins, 1 loss. One of those was against Destroyer, previously undefeated. As he comes into this tournament now, he's representing arguably the best team in the CPL, right? The Trinbago Night Riders. There's no question about that. Huge names in that team. Can Deepthi become synonymous with those names. Will Deepti be a name you utter when you think of the Trinbago Knight Riders? We'll have to wait and see. He's still got a little bit of a mountain to climb, but as we head into this game number 6, Kashil, I'm expecting huge things. Deepti's batting today has really been good. He came out of the blocks, all guns blazing against Destroyer. He found himself a little bit under pressure against Danger Zone, but again in that previous match that we saw, Deepti he's able to adapt. And that's what's setting him apart from a lot of the other players that we've seen so far today. We've seen just in that previous game, we saw lots of players not using their batsmen's footwork as well as they would have liked. Deepti, he's more than happy to shuffle up across the crease, down the pitch to take it to the bowler. And Sanyaman, yeah, he had a little bit of a rocky start. We had to restart the game. Then game number 2, it was like he was a completely different person. So I would go as far to say, Kashil, that this would be the game.
I would certainly hope so, because I think this is exactly what I feel Deepti would have wanted, to be able to bat first. Because I think the last loss came while chasing, and then again the way Deepti started off the day with batting first in the first inning, setting up a score against the best player so far. But then again, I think this is exactly what Deepti would have wanted had he won the toss as well.
So good start from Sanyaman. Ball goes to the fielder, only for 2. So Deepti, he's on the board, but not the explosive start that we saw him pull off in the first match, but lots of cricket still yet to be played. In comes Sanyaman again, slow ball on the leg side, and not really read by Deepti there, only able to sneak a single, not able to find the timing, didn't pick up the speed. And Sanyaman off to a great start here, only conceding 3 runs off the 2 balls as he comes in for his 3rd, goes for the Yorker, but Deepti, that's going to go straight down the throat of Long On, unfortunately for him, and timing just not there, Kashil.
Absolutely not. What I was thinking in the initial 3 balls, that okay, we've not seen a boundary, we've not seen a 6, but again we've had some runs on the board, right? It's not like we've had no runs being scored for 2 wickets. We at least had about 3 runs in 2 balls. But then again, I think timing the ball perfectly here would be the key for Deepti to set up a good score. And I think we saw that. I think he's very much capable of that, to be honest. Because we saw how well, how beautiful he was timing the ball perfectly in the first match. We saw 4 sixes being hit in the first over, and to back it up, he hit another 4 in the second over. So, and suddenly, you were looking at a score of more than 50. That very close, and that's out.
Yeah, well, that score of 50 plus is not looking likely here for Deepti. Sanyaman is just bowling to perfection. At the very last minute, he's changing his placement. It looks like it's going wide, then he'll swing it back in. He's a bag of tricks at the moment, is Sanyaman. Watching this guy bowl kind of reminds me of Shane Warne, where you just didn't know what ball he was going to whip out. Was it going to be the googly? Was it going to be the slider? Was it going to be the arm ball? Sanyaman is just a complete... He's a lucky dip with what ball he's going to bowl. You can see here, it looks like it's going to go down the leg side. Finds it outside off, slower in-swinger. It's a dot. I mean, you can't get much better.
For a moment, I thought that, he's going to go with Jadeja. But,
I thought so too, yeah.
But, this is still a good tactic, right? Having a left-arm bowler bowling into a right-hander, rolling those left-arm around deliveries. I think that's really going to come in handy. We have 6 runs on the board, 4 of 6. Obviously, with the help of a couple of extras. We're going to find it difficult to connect them. And then again, players I think they just have to showcase the kind of talent that they showed in the first match that they played of the day. And if at all, if Deepti has to score any sort of a competitive total here, I think he really needs to look at getting something close to about 30 runs from here on, which means about 3 sixes in the 3 balls that remain, and sort of not give away wickets like that, right? Because the field is perfectly set. The field is perfectly set for short life. These players, all of these are professional players. These players are wanting the opposition batsmen to play those kind of shots where they have a fielder standing right by the boundary and obviously, sort of disrupting the momentum, I would say, with the wicket and a dot. Again.
It's that same fielder that's just at deep backward square. I mean, Deepti is trying the same shot over and over and over again, and Sanyaman is bowling a multitude of balls, but Deepti has one answer, and Sanyaman just has that fielder there. There's another fielder, I think, at fine leg as well. He's all over the place. Deepti, 12 runs with, only 3 balls remaining is not a fantastic start to your innings. And another wide ball from Sanyaman, just not timed by Deepti. It will go straight to that fielder at backward square. Not caught out this time. It's a run on the board, but Deepti, he'll be feeling a little bit disappointed with himself, I would think.
But I'm more happy for Sanyaman, to be honest, Jake, because he's finding his way back into the tournament. The initial 2 days, I was really hoping for him to get one win at least. But again, he sort of got that win on day 3, and now he's not looking back. I don't think I've seen him losing any matches in the last 2 days. And again, I think if he's able to restrict Deepti to anything below 20, I think that's a competitive total. And the amount of wickets, there are only 12 balls. How many wickets can you take? He's taken 5 wickets.
It's a very good bowling average, that's for sure. As we go in, looks like, you're going to get your wish. Under 20 runs, in fact, 18 is going to be the total set for Sanyaman to walk away with his victory. He can do that in 3 balls if he wanted to. It's just going to go down to how well Deepti can bowl here. I mean, Sanyaman, you couldn't pick him. He was everywhere. It looked like it was going to go down leg. He put it wide outside off and swing it back into you. And again, Deepti just trying that same thing over and over again. Normally I say if it isn't broke, you don't fix it. But that was clearly broken there. But what else could Deepti do? Try and come down the pitch to Sanyaman? It looks like he would. Jadeja? No, he's teasing us.
Again, you spoke about 3 sixes being hit, but I wouldn't do anything any differently, because I wouldn't want to leave it to the last ball, or to the last 3 or 4 balls. I think given that you only have about 18 runs to chase, I would want to hit those from ball 1, no matter the amount of wickets that I lose. But then again, if I am there, let's say about 8 or 10 runs at the end of over 1, I think I would still be in a good position to sort of close out the match on a high.
0 footwork there, very David Warner-esque. The ball goes through to the keeper. I can say that because I'm Australian. Let's be honest, David Warner's footwork has not been fantastic the last couple of games. Just stands in one spot and goes for a swing, holds the pose, the off stump flies out. There's another one. Bit down leg that one, but it's 2 dot balls on the board here for Sanyaman. For Deepti. And that's good because he doesn't have a huge total to defend. It's less than 20. Another wide one, and Sanyaman. That's 3 dot balls in a row. I'm not sure if he's just disconnecting as the ball sort of meets the bat, but Deepti making him think about it. He backs away here to Sanyaman. This could be a catch. Yeah, look at that. 4 fielders just sitting there. 3 in front of square, 1 behind, and Sanyaman just not getting enough. Not enough turn on that as he tried to place the shot. Went straight to the fielder, yet to get a run on the board. Kashil, this is insane. You would think 20 runs, this game could be over by now. But he's still in it.
Not even 20, Jake. It's about 18 runs, and I was just thinking about how hard can it be to be able to score 18 runs, right? But to be able to come back into a match like that, to be able to bowl 4 dot balls on trot, beginning of the match, I think that's something that tells you about the player, right? But obviously, and then at the same time, when you see shots like these, those going away for 6s, that just makes you realize, maybe I should have had 10 more runs on the board. Maybe I should have had 20 more runs on the board. Because obviously, when you're bowling so beautifully like that, right? But obviously would have wanted quite a few runs on the board. I still feel, getting 12 from here is still very much possible. But not
Even Sanyaman was a little bit surprised with that one. Around the legs, leg stump flies out. And Deepti, what is happening? He's like a roller coaster so far today in this tournament. He's up, he's down. He can't even get 18 runs on the board here. Sanyaman, I'm very impressed. Colour me impressed. I mean, only 6 runs as Deepti is just on fire here. This is absolutely nutty cricket that we're seeing. Another ball comes through. Looks like Sanyaman will send that for 6. So, I don't know. What do you think, Ashil? I'm so nervous.
I can't say for certain because day one I remember Sanyaman being in a situation like this and then handing out three wickets. So say, you had about 6 runs to get up 6 balls. About 6 runs to get off 6 balls, and you end up sort of giving 3 dot balls in the first 3 and then about 3 wickets in the last 3. So, and Sanyaman went on to lose that match. So I would not say, at least until the time that he sort of gets over to that line, I would still not say that, it's in his bag, because it has so happened that, a bowler like Deepti here has been able to take a double wicket, made a in front of Sanyaman in over 2 while chasing. And Sanyaman went on to lose that match, but that's not going to be the case.
No, that's actually going to be the victory sealed with that ball there. Came right down to the wire, but it will be Sanyaman chasing down the total of 17 and doing it in style as well. Now remember, Sanyaman has only picked up, before the day started, he only picked up 1 win in this tournament so far. But he's had an absolute perler so far today. He's picked up 2 wins of his 3 matches. And I'll tell you what, as we head in towards the later stages of the ECPL 2023, it's blown wide open here. I mean, we've seen the undefeated Big, we've seen the bottom of the scoreboard, grab a couple runs above them and take victories. Anybody could walk away with the $8,000 first place prize here. It's just a matter, we've said, people are going to be walking away with winner here, with money here. It's just a matter of how much at the end of the day.
Absolutely. With that, when Sanyaman sort of throws himself into the mix there, after 2 days, you would have never thought that, that this is a player that we are at least potentially looking at in the top 4. But, with that kind of a performance, you wouldn't believe, a player losing out 5 matches on the trot, and then be able to come back, and win 3 matches on the trot. Suddenly sort of, looking at the 5th place. And not too much difference, right? Because obviously the 4th place team had only 4 wins there, and he's right there at 3 now. So he's knocking the doors of the playoffs now, and he's very much alive.
Yeah, well, let's see just how alive, because like we said, stranger things have happened here. So the leaderboard's going to be interesting. Danger Zone has actually knocked off Destroyer for first place. Sanyaman off the bottom of the board. He's now 5th. Raj will drop down to last place at the moment. So unfortunately for the St. Neversink Kings Patriots, they go down to the bottom, but Barbados Royals, they'll be pretty pleased with themselves. This has been one hell of a day so far here, Ashil. What do you make of these changes?
To be honest, obviously the top 2 doesn't surprise me at all. Obviously, what really makes me, what makes it interesting is the mid-table clash, because obviously we're seeing now players 5 and 6 sort of knocking on the doors for a playoff spot. So I think didn't really surprise me on the top 2. Obviously, Destroyer 3 losing out on a couple of matches would have been unfortunate. If I was Destroyer 3, having had such a good record so far. But then again, I think what really interested me today were the mid-table to low-table crashes, right? Obviously, and we've suddenly seen somebody who's lost 5 matches on the trot suddenly climbing up to the 5th spot. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's the senior men resurgence. Deepty, we thought he would have positioned a little bit better after the performances he had today. 2 wins, 2 losses, ain't too bad, but I don't know, the numbers don't lie. Still a little bit of work to do, but congratulations to Danger Zone. He can walk through this weekend with his head held high. Currently the #1 ranked cricket player in the ECPL. As look, he'll be heading through to next Wednesday looking to defend his belt. That's when we're going to be back here, ladies and gentlemen. So next Wednesday, same time. Look forward to the pleasure of your company then. But for now, we're going to have to wrap things up here. So on behalf of myself, Jake, my co-caster Kashil, all of the admins behind the scenes, thank you so much for joining us here for the ECPL 2023. Like I said, Wednesday next week, same time for more action. Hopefully, we will see you then. But until then, have a fantastic night and an even better week. See ya.
A chance for the batting lineup to display their fine set of skills. A good opening stand will be the key here. Good show by the fielders.